Do the thing.
Do the thing.
Barbara, do the thing.
I got it.
Do thing.
It's done. Hello, welcome to the Talkback for What Am I Rolling? The podcast where we talk about zombies.
That's all it is now.
Howdy doody. I'm Zach. I was your game master. And I
very
talk
normal way
like
to
this
start.
now because I'm thoroughly broken. So,
You did it.
I've had a psychological break. And now this is who I am. Why don't you all tell me your stars and wishes? Boy, howdy.
Ye, and dare I say it, ha.
Fiona, did you want to start? Yeah, I'll start off. Yeah. So the big star I was going to talk about is that the majority of us obviously, we all had backup characters, and we saw them to completion. And it's one of those things where it's kind of the unique concept of this game. Obviously, Savage Worlds and zombies, they are things. But I think what was interesting was I know that the current character I'm playing might not be here next time. So every second counts. And I remember, I was reading Blades in the Dark recently, and their whole thing is that you play your character as if they're a stolen vehicle. And that's how I feel like everyone plays. So a massive start to be like, I will make the choice, the unsafe choice, and what matters in the moment, rather than but my character will die, So I very much thought that was a really cool thing, that we knew there was backup characters, and we always, jestingly talked to them, going, Fiona's about to bring out the big guns and kill the weedy character and then transform into bitch. But I
No, both
of
of the characters were bitches. You can't
deny
that.
on a different scale,
kind.
Yeah.
Priests can be bitches too. God.
Yes.
But I think I've never had a game where I could do that. Again, I'm not lucky enough to be in long-running series or anything like that where I might go, I'll change my character next time. So I quite enjoyed thinking about who could there be in the world, and then, as I think we all did, think of almost like polar opposites to people, and then how their dynamics changed and stuff. And of course, at any point, if another character had died, would that mean their character would have changed the narrative and all that sort of thing? So I just want a big star to, I think, that initial conception, which I believe is Zach, but I think all of us came I see, and then just went, buff women and silly little guys, and we're like, yes, done.
No, to be fair, Liz came with a DILF. Liz came with a DILF.
I did.
Liz, came in strong with the DILF, and we had to kill him immediately.
I mean, to be fair, I came with a scrawny little man, and you guys were like, the DILF.
We were hot. Yeah, it was smash.
Smash or pass.
We didn't see Liv, your backup character, but just to blow up your fucking spot, you chose two characters that were absolutely goddamn smoking.
Yeah. Look, I don't understand why I'm being put on the spot about this. This is just literally what I do. If you look at any other character I've ever made, why wouldn't I? Unless they're once again little guy.
Genuinely preach. Actually, thinking about everything I've heard you in, all of your characters have been hot. Fair enough.
I direct you to City of the Black
Liv
Rose.
doesn't know how to play people who are not hot, okay? She has no experience with that, so it's very difficult for her to portray those characters.
Play what you know. Play what you know.
I have to be method when I make my character.
Yeah.
No,
We always bring a part of ourselves to the table, and the part that Liv brings is the hot part.
Smoking.
Oh God. So I had a DILF doctor waiting in the wings.
Oh.
It did break my heart to kind of when you were the last one left, and the metaphor was building of hope. I was like, oh no, it was Dr. Zeke, wasn't it? Dr. Zeke can't make it.
Dr. Zeke is doing a house call right now. And he can't
It would have been too useful to have a doctor. Are you kidding me?
Exactly. Yeah.
We would have all lived or something. Come
It
on.
would have been so ridiculous.
Well, maybe he's living in Seven Basins.
Yeah.
I think he was definitely scuttling around. I think he was probably there when everything blew up and was just okay, I got to help some people out, and was in the background. But yeah, no, I just couldn't love the way things worked out more. It worked out so well. And I think as well, one of my stars is the fact that, like I said, I min-max my characters. I try to make them, as useful as possible, as hot as possible, obviously. And I really
Number one priority.
Yeah. And I really love that I was immediately knocked off of my perch by this game and was just like, free runner? No, leg on. And I love that not only was that something that I got to kind of like role play through, it was also like bolstered by everyone else's kind of reactions and everyone else's characters kind of like very much yes-anding. And I just think that, it's just like the story was so seamless, and I think it's a huge shout out to everyone here for like making that work. God, y'all are good. Y'all are very good.
Thank you.
I can't believe we lived.
I know.
Wow.
Well,
Guys, not all of you did.
I wasn't speaking to them.
But also,
Three of us.
you two who did survive were on your backup characters.
No, quiet you. No, I came into the recording today fully expecting to not make it. Not planning for it, but kind of expecting that it was going to go south.
I ran through 6 bennies in one session. With the full understanding that Binlid was running into the horde of zombies and it wasn't going to come back out.
I used both my bennies on making sure Binlid could be attached to a horse, So
and look how that worked out.
Yeah. Looking great.
I want to give I think I pitched this game to Fiona because I had in my mind, hey, I reckon zombies plus Savage Worlds could be really effective. And I had like a vibe, and it really took everyone else coming in and saying yes and committing to it and pushing it as hard as they did that I think elevated this game into something really, really special. And I think, it was so wonderful to like play with people who are so, for lack of a better word, committed to the bit. Like you really did come in and say, oh, I see what you're trying to do. Here's how I can build on it. Here's how I can make it more effective. Here's how we can elevate each other. And I think it was just a delightful experience to have with all of you. Yeah, that's my star.
Yeah. No, I mean, building on that, I agree. Like it's so rare to have a game where there's such moments of like real tensions, but also like absolutely hilarious bits and bits where like something so cool is happening that I'm just like awestruck by the like. It's just really, I just had a lovely time. I'm emotionally exhausted, but in the best way. Remember that time Fiona shot that horse? That was great.
Oh
my god.
I was just sat here and everyone was like, yeah, we've got to get Binlid. And I'm like, yeah, get Binlid. Group. Everyone group up together just in front of the horde. And if I shoot right, that horse will die and you'll all have to run back to here.
If only you'd taken shooting. If only you'd done it.
Yeah, imagine if you'd actually taken shooting.
God,
instead of weapons, like instead of like, because I thought, oh yeah, switchblade, that'd be more important. And I was like, well, I'll buy a gun and a horse. And then I was like, fuck, those two.
You really didn't anticipate needing to shoot the horse.
No. You played yourself.
Horse cost like 300 whatever points in this. And I was like, yeah, this will be worth it. And now I'm like, fuck.
Yeah, thank you. The horse is taking that horse.
The horse is safe and sound with us now. All taken care of. It's all good.
Yeah.
The hilarious thing, though, was I gave you another horse for fucking free. There was another horse.
You wanted that horse.
That was
too
my
late,
horse.
Zach.
Good horse.
Yeah.
I will build on that. But specifically, I think this star, I'm going to angle towards Fiona. Because both of her characters, she made villains in two very different ways. And you didn't see the first one coming, which I always find really hard to do with any villain I think I've ever played. You pull it off so seamlessly. And also you added to the story and the flavor in that first sort of part that gave us then the motivations in the second. And with the characters that we did pull over from that bit with Lewis and then with Hope, and then the way that she interacted with Mara, you as a keystone villain throughout the whole series really gave this sort of an overarching flavor of tension that I was not ready for. Like I feel like I can go up against a GM being like, you're the villain? Yeah, sure, whatever, buddy. You're zombies? The minute it's Fiona Howat in your party being the villain, it's different.
Better be on your side.
It's just different. But I thought that was a very very noteworthy part of the whole story.
I was talking to Liz about this as well, about like over a longer campaign would have Reed like taken the time, because that was the thing, because everyone, including myself, shat on Reed at the beginning. And then I was like, yeah, he has to snap at some point. And it was so interesting, because there was a mixture of like, I think maybe a bit of above tabletop, and I was like, oh, yeah, we have to get out of that. And I'm just like, that's not the obvious thing here. And as soon as I said it, I saw everyone's eyes kind of like, oh, I'm gonna needle this wound even more. And it was just interesting. I think over time, those sort of like injustices in quotation marks towards Reed would have become more apparent. So again, not saying I wish of mine is like we could have gone on for many more sessions, but it's that sort of like, I think all of us with the sort of tensions we had, like I want to know more about Stacey, for example, like her husband and all that sort of thing, like where does she come from, and more about Mara as well, because we got a little bit about Mara and Bud. Obviously a big start about Bud and Hope's relationship as well, that came out of nowhere for me, and I was here for that. That's my big star of the series as well. So I think I wish of having more time to play with my friends, but like so we could really like, the word is navel gaze, and
there was enough. No,
it's not navel gazing. It's having a good time. With your friends is what it is.
On that, I give credit in different ways, but definitely Fiona, Pip, and Jess. You guys all brought in characters pretty late, and that's hard. That's hard to do. I think you guys did fantastic. I think they were just really like, this is it. I don't freaking know really Abigail and Mara's deal, but I know they're terrifying, and I know they've got shit together, and I know it's just like, and that was awesome. Like I really thought they were, in many ways I didn't need fleshed out characters. I had there were these really like evocative kind of terrifying villains that were just there, but also like more than just the simple things. And Jess, I think I said this last time, but I absolutely give credit, is you came with two character concepts and I mean this with great love, but you're like, one's based on Stacey Dooley and the other one's called Bin Lid. It's just like, okay, let's see where this goes.
You really did come in and say exactly those words.
That really was precisely what you said. Yeah.
And you still managed to create two like incredibly charming, interesting,
complex characters.
You're shouting bin lid at the end when you're rolling.
It's just it's really impressive that I'm just like, oh shit, like that was,
the fuck.
No, I loved it. It was great. So yeah,
and,
well
like,
done.
They talked. They both had ridiculous voices. They did. They both had the voices that you would give to like comedy bit characters. Yeah. And somehow, and this is a testament to your like power as a role player, you through that gave them such fucking pathos. It was wild.
Honestly, as a role player, I struggle with settings that are real. Or like you give me like a zombie apocalypse, it's based in a world or like part of the world, like I don't know, but I know it's like in our reality sort of thing, like it's on Earth. You give me a fantasy setting, you give me something on a different planet, no problem, like because anything's possible. But here it's like, oh, I have to be like a person. That I find really hard.
This isn't just clearly you don't struggle with settings in the real world because you nailed it. Like. Yeah. Despite coming with Stacey and Bin Lid and the entire
Stacey and Bin Lid are very much like the coping mechanism, that sort of element of just stupidness. And if I can bring a silly little guy to a fight, I'll bring a silly little guy to a fight, It helps a little bit. But I mean, I came in and you guys all had these, God, your characters all came so perfect. And I was like, you guys all fit. And like Bud McAllister in particular with the gruff voice and that Appalachian sort of nature. I was like, I don't know how to compete like with this. I don't know how to make something that fits this mold. So I will try and do something that, if anything, I wanted to highlight how good you guys are being by being a stupid little guy. But I loved every minute of it. I loved the way that we then found like the mechanics of how each friendship worked and how each sort of like the family reveal between Hope and Bud.
So good.
Or everything revealing, the little Mara drop, the Mara lore at the beginning as well, with every single little breadcrumb was just so tasty, tasty.
Do you remember when Bud had that what's it called? The
walkie-talkie,
and then Fiona's voice picked up.
Yes.
That wakes me up at night, and I'm like,
that is me actually messaging you, Liv.
You haven't checked your messages.
You're right. Oh my god, the shame.
And it was well done, Zach, for weaving that in. It's like we might have never actually gotten to Abigail. I mean, Fiona did her best to get herself killed, so, no worries about that.
Come on, did very well.
Kill Reed.
But I think that's good. Look, respect, as you're saying, respect to everyone, being willing to sacrifice, jump in with a backup care and all that. Respect to Liv for, just being yes, I need to keep going, because turns out I'm the focal point. But, I do think, we made it a kind of joke that, in the A-level drama version of this, the Hope must survive. But I think we only got there because Hope was such a kind of pivotal figure in all of this, connected to everyone and symbolic of what we were doing. Yes, I know it's trite A-level drama, but it did actually work a lot, and I'm so happy Hope lived. I'm so happy.
Yeah.
It's a shout out to classic zombie films and that zombie trope of the first survivor. Yes, that final girl, first survivor element, but the fact that you are also, as Hope, the first sort of child of the zombie era, surviving even through that.
Yeah,
I don't know. Feels like poetry.
Really felt very, very, very cool. And I think I think that because I went through the 5 stages of grief or whatever throughout this campaign of just going from it's anger, just my leg's gone, and then bargaining, but if Zach, if I get a prosthetic I'll be fine, right? I can do my running, and then blah blah blah. And then throughout the last session or so, it's just been Hope just kind of okay, just get through this, if you have to sacrifice yourself, you will. And then acceptance, and just being okay, I'm now part of this next generation who has to keep fighting.
Yeah. And the final stage of grief, horse riding.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah, exactly. Oh, you know it.
The horse is still shaken. It's still riding.
The horse unshook. The horse unshook.
No. But I didn't. And I would love to also give a big, huge shout out to you, Pip, for when I was want to be my dad, and you were yeah, right.
Immediately jumping on that. I thank you for that. That is a gift for a player to come and be hey, do you want to have a cool story that connects to my character? And you're oh my god, this gives me more for my I don't know, so great.
So well.
Did you guys discuss that before recording, or did it emerge in recording?
So one of my hindrances was that I had a huge secret, and so I was okay, what can I do with this? And then I figured it's a secret from everyone else, but it also from you, Pip, and so having to kind of come to terms with that would be quite interesting. And then Pip, you basically took that and ran with it and then destroyed me. So thank you so much for that. Thank you.
He destroyed himself with a bomb.
No,
with a bomb.
Fireworks.
No, I set myself on fire. It's very different. But yes. I destroyed Tom's Creek with a bomb.
I love
the idea that at the end there, Zach, that Tom's Creek is still burning.
Thank you.
He had
so much biodiesel.
Bud had built some sort of cellar, and that's where he was storing all the biofuel and all this stuff.
The moonshine, all that.
It's just
fertilizer.
There's an old nuclear warhead down there somewhere.
That's
not safe anymore.
Look, I wasn't subtle with my metaphors. It was the heat, the red, the hot, the heat of a wound. It was a wound that was burning, and it was hot, and it was
and Bud's biodiesel.
And Bud's biodiesel.
Come on down,
that was the thing of it's a wound that's still hurts, still burning.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I will throw another, just because we keep this train going forever. I'll throw another star out to Zach.
Yeah,
I've been GM'd by Zach a lot. He has GM'd me on a regular basis.
Oh, baby.
Wow.
Oh my.
Is this another twiddling knob situation?
That wasn't on air, Fiona.
Oh, sorry. I might just put it in just for the sake of it.
And this is to say nothing of the other games that we have played, but this felt like another fucking level for you, dude. Like this really
100%.
felt like like, oh shit, you're like, there was stuff in here that I didn't see coming. There was stuff in here that I was like, oh man, you are the seeding of the backup characters so early on.
Thank you.
And like all of that stuff, and just telling this story that feels like so amazing and so kind of complex and complete, and yet could have been longer but kind of didn't need to be over this shorter time is nothing short of genius. And much of that does go to you, but also it goes to everyone else at this table for like finding those characters and going, like Fiona was saying, like, drive it like you stole it, and just kind of being like, I'm just going to play the shit out of this character until they're dead.
Yeah.
And again, I guess again for Liv, star for playing the shit out of that character and at no point dying. Like, it's not like you were being precious with hope.
No,
like,
no.
It wasn't as much as we, or many of us in specific characters at certain points endeavored to shield and like protect hope through the campaign. There were very few moments in that game where like, where like, I don't know, where hope like wasn't in danger. Like hope was always in danger. And it, oh man, so cool.
I also love that it was Reed that completely fucked me up. I like another parting shot. Like,
happy to help.
I love to see it. I would also like to give a huge shout to Liz for just rolling with the punches so fucking well. Like, I feel like that's exactly what Paul Lewis was having to do. Paul had just gotten away from the people who then got us again, and like having to kind of like get away from that, go back into it, and then like find a bunch of people who needed your help. And like for a 16-year-old kid, you just played that so well, that kind of innocence and that like level of like, I'm just going to keep trying and I'm going to be an adult and it's going to be fine. It was very well done.
Yeah, agreed.
I'm happy I stole that horse.
You did great. You did great,
Fiona
kid.
will remember this in any future game. And I'll be like, that horse that you've not brought, it's not here. Just like, it could be a horse.
Yeah, you're about to have Fiona on a lot of games for you, Liz.
Oh no.
It's going to bring so many horses. Just like
that I can't have.
a whole herd. Just, these are mine.
A horde.
That was a phenomenally fun game to play.
Yep.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
I am surprised just at how spectacular I think it was. Like, not to fucking toot my own
do it.
horn.
Toot that horn, Zach. You toot that horn.
Not to toot my own horn. But look, I think we fucking crushed it.
Hell yeah, we did.
One of my favorite things is, because I re-listen every time we record, the start of the first episode in the raw edit, which I'm sure will be out by the time it's trimmed down, is you talking about how nervous you are to get started because you don't know what the game is going to be.
Yeah.
You're like, I just need to like get a little bit, and then I'll know what the game is. And it's
Well,
nice
we didn't know, because right?
Yeah.
Because there was so.
it makes sense, but to come out the other end that we've, that I do think it's gone well, and we've told a complete story with good memorable bits and characters and things like that. It's very sweet to have that little intro.
Well, because I didn't know what the game, like, truly, like, for the listener, like, I did not plan anything beyond, hey, Tom's Creek is going to get blown to bits. I didn't know who's going to survive. I didn't know what any of that was. I had like a vague idea. I kind of knew what the Reapers were doing, and I knew the Union was doing. Those were all running in the background, but everything else was like, okay, are you guys going to survive? I don't know. Maybe this story doesn't get to Seven Basins. Maybe you die on the road.
Yeah.
Maybe there's a final confrontation somewhere else. I don't know. I didn't know.
Well, there was potentially a world where all of our first characters are dead, and we just smash cut to Abigail, Mara, Lewis, and Binlid and Zeke, right? Like somewhere else where something else, maybe they're all captives right at the beginning or whatever it is.
Cool.
It's just like
so many different possibilities with the characters we made and with the way that you gemmed it, and the fact that we ended up with this ending almost makes me want to go back to the beginning and go, what if we play it again but differently?
Do another Baldur's Gate run.
Do another Baldur's Gate run,
exactly.
Yeah, we got the Binlid windsurfs behind a horse ending.
I really want to do an evil run, but I can't be mean, so
No, that's Fiona. Fiona's doing the evil run.
Yeah, I'll do it.
Fiona and Pip did that. Yeah,
We'll do that.
I will say, I think it was the Sunday after Dragon Meet. I think I did while we were like hanging out. I was like, Fiona, when we go back and do our last bit of Savage Worlds, is it cool if I turn on you at some point? Because I am going to turn on you at some point.
Yeah, we had this conversation. And I was like, of course. No, why? I wouldn't be friends with Abigail. Look, I'm a bitch as well in real life outside of the game. She shot a horse and stabbed a small child.
She did. I love that we're like, you're a bitch for shooting that horse, but you did stab a child as well.
The horse is worse,
16.
weirdly.
It's okay to stab a 16-year-old.
I should have said he's of age as I went to stab him. That's what I should have said.
That would have been so much worse.
How old are you, son? 16? Old enough.
But it's funny because I remember because we had that conversation and I completely forgot it until you turned on me. I was like, I did consent to this. Bring it. So it was great. It was great. I completely forgot. No, it was great. As soon as I said, I was like, I did agree to this. I can't wait. So perfect. It was perfect timing for me to have forgotten and come back. So that was an absolute joy.
I just thought you were wonderfully playing Trusting Me.
Oh no! I was like, they've got my horse. I was delusional. I was focusing on the horse and these meddling children who was taking my horse.
And one adult.
One hot adult.
Thank you. Exactly. Thank you so much. Please use my full title. Thank you so much.
Yes, Binlid is neither a child nor an adult. Binlid is an eldritch being that is time.
A thing that popped into my head and I didn't say it because that would have been ridiculous when Jess, when you were doing your sort of your outro for Binlid, which was wonderful, and as soon as you were like, there's no one on the horse, I was like, of course they won't let Binlid in. Binlid's clearly been bitten and he's a weird little goblin. He knows that. He knows they won't let him in.
I like to think Binlid was in my imagination the whole time.
No, that was the thing. That was the thing I was going to say. That was the thing I was going to say is like right before Binlid slips off the horse, like reach over to Lewis's ear and just go, "No one will ever believe you, Lewis," and then vanish.
Yes.
Wait, let's do a pickup now.
I want to change it.
And Hope's just like, why are we going back into the horde? You said, but there's no one there.
I mean, you were losing your mind. I was half dead. We made a Binlid. Okay.
Yeah.
Was Binlid real? Maybe Binlid. You know, Binlid was the friends we made along the way.
Binlid was the friends that we made along the way.
All hail our zombie apocalypse messiah.
Yeah,
like incredible. Just coming in and just the being made entirely out of bullshit.
Every party needs a golem.
Yes, they do. I love it.
I just wanted to say as well that I am also, as wonderful as that ending was, I was so desperate to find out if we could possibly like bring Mara back with us and like do a rehabilitation thing, or just kind of like be like therapy. I don't know, like I just was like, there's a twinkle of hope there, but I didn't.
See, in my head, I was like, as soon as you guys were off, I immediately was like, oh, Mara suffers for eternity because of what she did.
Bad stuff.
Yeah,
I think if I had somehow survived that, because I was last in the initiative in that order, I was like, I'll turn around and just bite you. And we'll still be human. So I was absolutely just... Because I felt to myself, like, well, I have to bite somebody. So in my head, I was like, who will it be? And then, you told me, I was like, it has to be you, but I don't think I'll survive. But I will do it. So I was very much... I was like, good, Zach and I were on the same page. I absolutely will bite Mara.
I did go through that, like, that fun, not a fun feeling, but a fun feeling when you're playing a game like this, where, because in my head, I was like, okay, there is gonna... I don't know what's going to happen, but I'm waiting for the moment when I can... when enough is enough, and Mara, like, because I didn't, again, Mara wasn't planning it, and then of course you did that lovely thing of calling me pathetic, and it was like, okay, great, then there it is. Like, that's the breaking point. There is, I will now turn on you. But if I hadn't, if I hadn't been as fucking annihilated by Binlid's arrow, there was a world where Mara might have, if an offer had been given, might have tried to go with them, right? Like, might have tried to get away, but like, she was so fucking close to death. Yeah, nah.
But this is the beauty of the genre, is that I think we're supposed to have the fact, like, could have Mara been rehabilitated? Like, did Reed really need to die? You know?
No, you guys all set upon him. He was happy.
Reed did need to die, but I'm with you there.
But it's not, I don't know, yeah.
If you hadn't fucked with Binlid, then you would have survived. So
that's true. I think, but that's another big star, actually. I think to the system itself, which I appreciate. Like, not all of us have played that much of it, but it's fucking wild. Like, I remember when all my dice exploded and I just killed the man dead in the tent. And because up until that point, Abigail hadn't hit at all. And I was like, God, she's terrible. How has she managed to go? And then suddenly had just absolutely annihilated this man in the tent and said, that's why. And I felt really great about it. But then I think quite a few people had like constant exploding dice. Obviously, we had Binlid in that last thing against Mara. Zach, you had it for a guard with morale.
Some guard like solidifying his resolve to kill you.
The wild turn where we all like smashed like staying on the bucking horse.
Yes.
Supposed to fail.
13 or higher.
I cannot believe no one got knocked off that horse. That was wild. Yeah.
Considering someone didn't have a leg.
Literally tightly.
Yes.
The
horse had been shot.
It's a goblin behind you.
A goblin hanging off the back of it.
Encircled behind the
horse. So many reasons to fail, but god damn it, them dice persevered. It was beautiful.
They tell the story.
Because I can definitely see why people might not wish to play the system, because there's a lot to it, but when it hits, you're like, holy fuck, how have I done this? And it just feels so satisfying as a result. So and obviously big star to both Zach and Pip for guiding us through. And like, I love the rules clarification, because that's the thing. It's like, we're just like, I want to be able to use the system entirely. So now I know like what a hit and a raise means. So I'm like, that's 6 sessions done. It just felt so. Again, it just takes a little while, and it actually comes to my whole philosophy now, is that maybe one shots aren't the way forward. It's more limited series of stuff where you get used to the characters, you enjoy it, and then you learn the system as well. I think it's just very interesting, because I never used to be that person who used to be like, one shots and done, but now I'm like, oh, this system wouldn't have worked as a one shot realistically, and we talked about this about like it being a proper series and stuff. So that's why I just thought it was so good to do that, and I think more people out there need to consider that when they're going, hey, let's just do a couple of sessions. It's like, you need to do 4 sessions for us plus of Savage Worlds, you know. But to get the full benefit of it.
I'm curious how it'll obviously come down in the edit, but we've done hours of this game.
And if you listeners want to hear hours more, then please send as many messages as you can to Fiona.
Yes, tell me.
Then look, we've
got 3 characters who are still alive. Lewis and Binlid and Hope are all alive, and maybe
Zeke will turn up at some point.
We could return to Seven Basins and see how they're doing one day.
I am now forever going to have in the back of my head to pitch as future projects or whatever, just this like Ship of Theseus zombie game. Like, I don't have room for it on the docket now. But like one day, if someone's like, "Hey Zach, what do you want to do?" It's the fucking Ship of Theseus zombie game of like it's the constant, refreshing party of like what is this even the same game? Like I would.
And it's
love
so much
to
fun
do
as a
that.
player. It's so much fun as a player.
Fun.
Yeah.
This fucking ruled, Zach.
Yeah.
Fiona,
Yeah.
Jess,
Thank you, Zach.
you
Thank you,
guys are
Fiona.
incredible.
Thanks, everyone.
That's a wrap on Binlid.
Right. Any final thoughts before we hit the stop button on this recording?
Season 2.
Season 2. Coming in 2028.
Give us another 2 years.
That's when all our schedules line up.
Yeah, so
Season
Zach
2.
next has time.
featuring the return of Bud McAllister.
Yes!
I'm
Yes!
back.
Yes!
I'm
We're all
thinking
playing Bud's
some
illegitimate
goddamn
children.
zombies
Oh
can
my
kill
God.
me.
Absolutely.
I'm a
series.
robot now. I rebuilt myself into a robot.
Papa?
Powered entirely by biodiesel.
Explode at the end.
You joke, but I need this.
Yes.
Make our own
Give me
consoles.
this.
Bye-bye, everyone. Thank you so much for listening. Bye.
Bye.
In the universe of Star Wars Odyssey, space is made out of the collective imaginations of all the thinking beings who live on various planets. These worlds are connected to each other through imagination. Common themes and ideas are strings between universes. And to get between them, people fly wooden ships that look like animals, which are powered by emotions. Also, people communicate with each other by contemplating orbs. The only way you can take pictures is getting stared at by a big psychic bug. And people have already declared victory in a war over the very concept of evil. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Star Wars Odyssey follows the adventures of the hapless inhabitants of the Lucky Finn tenement building, who suddenly find that their apartment is actually a spaceship, and that they're lost in a sea of boundless imagination. It's an actual play starring me, James D'Amato, Mel D'Amato, Ali Grauer, and Drew Merzieski, as we playtest the No Kings system, which will hopefully one day be the Skyjacks role-playing system. It toes the line between weird and wonderful slice of life and high-flying space fantasy. You can sample the first 5 episodes by searching for Star Wars Odyssey on your favorite podcast app, or get the whole thing by heading to patreon.com/oneshotpodcast and signing up for $5 a month or more.